Now that agentic AI development has gotten so incredibly advanced, I've been wondering if it's now possible to make this completely integrated workflow where you say you want to develop a cross-platform app for both Android and iOS, and then you want the agentic AI to both develop the app based on your prompt, but also maintain the app and continuously push out updates. And I think I found a workflow that actually is really efficient for this, and it based on a set of different technologies that I'll go through in this video. But to sum it up, I'm using Flutter to make cross-platform apps for, in this case, both Android and iOS. And then I'm using Cursor AI and their agent to both develop the app using Flutter and also continuously create updates to my app. And then I'm using Shorebird on top of all this to enable live push updates. So it means that I can now prompt Cursor AI to create an update for an existing app. Once I verify this update works and is how I want it to be, I simply utilize Shorebird to then push out that update in real time to all users without them having to go to their respective app stores or Google Play Store or whatever they're called. They don't need to do that. It's just instantly pushed to their devices as over-the-air updates with Shorebird. I think this approach is particularly powerful because say I have an app already that I've been developing using the agent and so on, but say it's like already published and people have it installed on their respective devices, and then I get an idea for a new feature in that app. I simply note down that idea, then whenever it's convenient, I paste that note into the agentic AI and it will start working on that feature. I then verify that it's how I intend it to be. I test it, and after I'm done testing and I'm satisfied, then I use Shorebird to push out that update in real time to all users without them having to go and manually update the app. It's just pushed as an over-the-air update. And whenever they then open the app the next time, it will have the updated feature. So this workflow means I don't have to write a single line of code. I can just concentrate on getting the ideas, figuring out what areas can be improved, and then incrementally push very small minor updates out that will over time become like more meaningful features because it can be so incremental, right? This completely changes the way I look at app development. It can be this fluid experience where it's not major updates like releases once every month, but every time you can just tweak something here and there and you can just push it out instantly and also get feedback instantly of the things you choose to push out. So yeah, let me show you how I combine these technologies. Of course, it can be done in various ways and with various different tech stacks, but I found this combination of agentic AI, Flutter, and Shorebird to be particularly powerful and particularly optimized for this workflow. So let me show you how it works. Okay, so first of all, let me just walk you through the tech stack that I'm currently using. So for the agentic AI, I'm using Cursor, and it's really because I like Cursor. It's a really great development environment, but it's also because the more traditional vibe coding platforms like Lovable and Replit, they don't really work with Flutter. Like they are based on React or like a Next.js framework, so they're not really optimized for working with Flutter. But Cursor really works with anything because it's way more low level. Like it's based on Visual Studio Code. It's a lot more flexible from a programmer's perspective. It can work with anything that the LLMs can handle, which is essentially anything. So yeah, Cursor is my choice for this project. You can download it at cursor.com and use it for free. You get free credits by just downloading it. I won't go through the install process, but it's really simple. So just follow the instructions. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments down below. And for Flutter itself, you just go to flutter.dev And yeah, you can see if you go to docs.flutter.dev, there is a guide for installing it. Just select your operating system, and then you can use the guide for installing it with Visual Studio Code, since Cursor is based on Visual Studio Code. So it's an extension to Visual Studio Code that you install, and then Cursor will also have Flutter support. And finally, this is the website of Shorebird, shorebird.dev. And as mentioned, this is the engine for pushing live updates to your app. So whenever you code something, you can use Shorebird to push that new feature or bug fix or whatever directly to users in real time without them having to go to their respective app stores to update the app, and without you having to resubmit an app to App Store for review, which is typically a lengthy and cumbersome process. So this simplifies everything a lot because you can just push things in real time. Also, Shorebird was created to help businesses succeed with Flutter, and it was actually also built by the same people who built Flutter. So yeah, head to shorebird.dev, and there you can create an account. And also there is at docs.shorebird.dev, there is a quick start guide which explains how you set this up within your Flutter environment as well, which in this case is in Cursor. So there is a script that you just run in the terminal, like you open the terminal within Cursor and run this Shorebird install script, and then it's basically being set up. You also need to have your respective dev environments for iOS and or Android, whatever you want to use. And both of them, of course, if you want to deploy to both Android and iOS app stores. So for iOS, it's about installing Xcode, and similar for Android, which is Android Studio. So yeah, again, if you have any issues installing or integrating Shorebird within your dev environment, please let me know in the comments below. I'll try to help directly in the comments. After installing, you can try to go to the console, basically console.shorebird.dev after creating an account. And here you will later get an overview of all your apps and the patches and updates you push to your apps. So this will be important later, but I just wanted to show it now. But now that we have everything set up, let me go show my dev environment and how we then create our first app using Shorebird and Flutter within Cursor. Okay, so I'm now inside Cursor and I have the entire environment set up. I have Shorebird installed, I have the Flutter environment installed, I have iOS and Android development environments installed as well. So the first step is to create a new Shorebird-enabled Flutter app. You can, if you already have a Flutter app, you can quite easily initialize Shorebird within your existing Flutter project. But let's just try the more straightforward way, which is to create the Flutter app using Shorebird. So all we have to do is to type Shorebird, create, and then the name of the app. And I'm going to create a simple chat app, or like the beginning of a chat app that we can call HauseChat. And this is just to give an example of like how quickly you can make something that actually looks quite legit and functional as well. So let's do this. Shorebird create HauseChat. How should we refer to this app? We just enter the default. Okay, and now it's done creating the app, and we can now open this new app within Cursor. So we press open project, and then we find the folder which has just been created for the new project. We open this, and now we have a completely clean Flutter Shorebird-enabled project within Cursor. And as you'll see in the left side of Cursor, we now have the chat interface, which has agent enabled by default. So agent is extremely capable, is able to work directly autonomously on your project in almost any tech stack that you can imagine. I already prepared a prompt for the app we're going to develop, so I'll just paste that in. And I'll just quickly explain this prompt. So essentially, we start out by saying, create a beautiful and minimal Flutter chat application called HauseChat, optimized for both iOS and Android platforms. And then I have some core requirements like the brand color, which is the brand color of House. So this should be flat design, have the message bubbles, avatars, and so on. So there are a lot of different requirements. We also have some dummy replies because we don't want to actually integrate this with any either AI or real-time communication between people yet. We just want to work on the interface. So I just put in these default replies that can be used as placeholders until the time comes when we actually want to create the functionality. But it's just so we can test sort of the interaction in the app. So yeah, some technicals and so on. So I won't like read the entire prompt, but I'll paste the prompt down below so you can use it if you want. Okay, so so now that we have the prompt, we just have to run this with the agent. So we press send, and then we can just sit back and look at the agent doing its work. So let me just expand it a bit. And we can see that it already has a to-do list that it needs to go through. So it really plans out all the individual steps for achieving this initial version of the app. Okay, and it seems to be done. So it's saying that it has completed the checklist we have, and that it's ready to run. So we can just go and use Flutter run now to test the app. So let's go ahead and test the app. To run the app, we simply go to Terminal at the top of the window and open a new terminal so that we have access to the terminal within the cursor interface. Then we just confirm that it's in the right folder, which it is in this case, HauseChat. And then we simply type Flutter run. And one thing to be aware of is that you want to open whatever environment you want to test the app in. So if it's on your physical device, you want to put your iPhone or Android device into the USB-C port on your computer, or if it's in a simulator, you want to open the simulator before you press run. So I already opened the iOS simulator on my MacBook, and then we should be able to choose that as the target device when we execute Flutter run. And it has already identified that we have an iPhone 17 Pro Max as a device on our simulator. Okay, and it now seems to be done. At least I can see that it has opened in my simulator. So let me just switch windows so you can see it as well in the simulator. So here we have the app. It's very simple, but also it seems to be following our instructions. It's called HauseChat. We have a welcome message. Welcome to HauseChat. How can I help you today? Let's just try to write something. Whoops. Let's just say hi. That's really cool. I believe that's one of the default messages. Let's just continue. Yes. I know. Me too. I also understand. Yeah. So pretty pointless conversation, but the interface seems to be working. We have the keyboard, which is not activated when I have the physical Mac keyboard, of course. So that's really it. So that's the basic app. So back in Cursor, I just want to release this first version to Shorebird as the first initial build of the application. So so let's in the terminal write, let's say we want to release this for iOS and I have it connected to my iOS or Apple developer account. We simply type Shorebird release iOS. And it's going through the entire process of building and signing the build for iOS device deployment using my specific team within the Apple developer program. And what you'll end up with is like a App Store IPA, like a file that you can then transfer to App Store Connect and then release it that way to either internal test flight testing first or to review for App Store release. Okay, so now it's ready to create the new release. It's called HauseChat. It's version 1.00 for iOS, and yeah, we just press yes. Would like to continue. So that's it. It's made the release, and then if we want to actually get it to the App Store, we have to use, for instance, the Apple Transporter app, which can send the build file to App Store Connect. In the Shorebird console, we can see that if we open the HauseChat project, we can see we now have a 1.0.0. So this is the initial release of the app. We can open it and we can see there are no patches. So this is just the initial build without any patches on top of that build. So now let's try to make that new feature, which can then become a patch for this release of the app. Imagine you already pushed this to the App Store and it's a working app and you have users actually using your app. But now you get some user feedback, or you just figure out yourself that it could be really nice to have timestamps on the messages. And that's a pretty minor feature, and you probably don't want to go through the hassle of creating a complete new build that needs to get approved by the different app stores, both for iOS and for Android. And you also want users to be able to get this feature right away. So first of all, let's try to implement this simple timestamp feature with the cursor agent. And then let's try to use Shorebird to just push that update immediately and over the air. So back in cursor, we can instruct the agent to work on the new feature with timestamps for each message. So we can type something like, please implement chat bubble timestamp functionality so that a timestamp is shown above each bubble. Something like that. Let's just try. All right, so it seems to be done. So let's test this out in the simulator first before we push the patch to Shorebird. So again, we just do Flutter run. So back in the simulator, we again have our welcome message. And as you can see, it says now above the initial message. And this is actually how the agent implemented it. So it will initially say now when you have a new message, and then after a while it will say like 1 minute ago, 2 minutes ago, and so on. And for older messages, it will then show a complete timestamp. So it's quite contextual. So let's see if this works. So if I type a new message, I guess it should also say now for the new message and for the reply as well. But we should soon see the initial message starting to shift to like 1 minute ago after 1 minute has passed. So let's see. All right. So there we have it. So all of these are now, and then the initial message is now 1 minute ago. For now, I think this is okay, and we can then try to push this as a patch to Shorebird and see how that works. So let me go back to cursor. I must say I really love how simple this is, because if we actually want to push this as a live patch to our app, all we have to do is to type Shorebird patch iOS, enter. That's it essentially, and then now it will do the patch, and it will push that new feature update directly. There's a feature update or bug update or whatever you want to patch. You'll push that directly to users. So it asks which release would you like to patch. We only have one, so everyone who is currently running 1.0.0 of our app will instantly receive that patch to their device installation. And there we have it. It's now ready to publish a new patch. So we just press yes, we would like to continue. And patch 1 has been published. So let's go check it out how it looks in the Shorebird console. We now have iOS patch 1, which we can see is currently active. And that's it. You can track it that way. And of course, if it was a real app in the App Store, like users would be able to then use the new feature or bug fix that you've pushed with this patch. And but imagine that you then push a patch and you actually realize that the patch itself has some bug. You're actually able to roll back a patch instantly as well, which is also really, really convenient. So we have this patch 1 now, but say that we actually don't want the timestamps to be like that, then all we have to do to roll back this patch is to press the 3 dots and press rollback. And we ask if we are sure, and yes, we would like to roll back this feature. And now it has the status rolled back. So then now users will just use the plain initial 1.0.0 release without any patches. So that's really how simple it is. It's I almost don't think it could be any simpler, especially combined with the agent in Cursor that basically implements the features and patches for you. It's worth noting that rollback of features is actually quite a normal flow for web developers, but it's not really something that's been in the toolbox of mobile developers traditionally, because typically these app stores are always just looking for the next build, but not really capable of rolling back to previous builds. And of course, this works across all platforms, iOS, Android, Mac, and so on. So it's really, really so nice to have everything combined into this one workflow for all platforms and for even all AI models to do the coding, because Cursor supports so many different models as well. This, I think, is really groundbreaking in terms of app development workflow. Like, it's so convenient and so fast to iterate with these tools that it's just yeah, it's a bit mind-blowing. Just from before, we rolled back the patch, but I actually rolled that forward again because I just want to show as well the preview command, because you can always type, like, say you have a project like an app in the App Store, and you send out some patches and so on, and now you want to basically run the app the way it's seen by users actually having the app installed on their devices. So you can write Shorebird preview, and then it will preview. Like, you can see we have which release would you like to preview, and we have 1.0.0. So we select this one. So while it's installing on my physical device, on my iPhone, we can actually go to the console app on Mac and listen to the log messages from my phone. And I've just put in the tag Shorebird, just so it only get the relevant log data. So if I press start and then trying to just run it again in Cursor. Okay, so now it's installing. So we can see the log data coming in. So it says that the patch has successfully been applied and downloaded. And then it says it will be launched when the app next restarts. So that's basically because it was a clean, like a new install on my phone. So initially it will just download the released version, and then on the next restart, the patch will then be applied. So yeah. So this is proof that it works as intended, that it will download the patch from Shorebird servers and then apply it after the app has been installed. And just to show how flexible it is, this is the exact same app running on Android directly out of the box. No configuration or tweaking required. I just basically open the Android simulator instead, and then it will run there. So that's it. I don't know if you noticed through this entire video, but we actually didn't open any code window one single time. Like everything was done by the cursor agent and in the terminal to just call the simple commands for Flutter and Shorebird. Of course, we can always go and take a look at the code that's generated. We could just open main.dart, for instance, and take a look and do any tweaks we want to do manually. But yeah, it really it really wasn't necessary to open any of the files. One thing I just want to quickly point out is that you can always go to the shorebird.yaml file in your project. It's already there, and there you can see that it's connected to Shorebird through this ID. So it's already like your project is automatically registered with Shorebird. A concern some developers might have is whether using code push with Shorebird could risk getting their app removed from the app stores because of breach of guidelines or similar. But that's really not the case. Shorebird has documented the specific guidelines that ensure their approach stays compliant. And this is also evident from their website, where they document that it both complies with Play Store guidelines as well as Apple App Store guidelines. So Shorebird has thousands of customers deploying millions of patches, and there haven't been any reports of apps being questioned or taken down as a result. And the reason that this is allowed is that it was actually primarily designed to accommodate mobile games initially, because many games incorporate scripting capabilities often that support over-the-air updates. So if any of the app stores decided to eliminate allowing over-the-air updates, it would impact a significant portion of the mobile gaming sector as well. And just some general background, Shorebird works for is used by a wide range of people, from independent indie developers all the way up to Fortune 500 enterprises, and it handles large-scale operations as well. Some enterprise clients push patches to millions of active users simultaneously. And on the workflow side, just a comment, particularly when you work with AI agents, I would say it's always a good practice to, of course, test and review the code changes up front, and then after that deploy them to a staging environment for testing. And only once everything has been checked in the staging environment and by like multiple tests, then you can promote it to production and push it out within the Shorebird console. So this helps maintain reliability and avoids pushing untested deployments. I just want to mention that just so we don't get a practice where we do a lot of vibe coding and then push out the vibe code in real time without doing true manual and bigger scale testing. So that's still important, because the agents can still hallucinate and we can still experience bugs. This is also very convenient to do with Shorebird's deployment tracks, where you can essentially, when you publish a patch, you can define a track such as staging, so that you have complete control over like which track your patches go into before you finally release it to the public. It's also worth noting that changes to native code still requires full submissions with new app builds. So like you might handle the weekly updates through patches, while submitting new binaries to the stores every couple of months could incorporate this like native or new third-party package adjustments and so on. So it's really think about patches as sort of the pushes of updates you can do in between the major releases, and also as an emergency if you notice an important bug where you can't really wait for Apple or Google to approve a new build. Thank you for watching the video. I hope it gave you some inspiration on how you can optimize your own app development workflow. For me, this really redefines how I look at app development. App development used to be this big thing, like this major project that would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars and take months or even years to complete. But now app development has really become very democratized with agentic AI, because you don't need to write code and you can have multiple agents basically seamlessly working on your apps in real time. And now with this whole infrastructure working together, like with Shorebird that can really push out the updates in real time, you also don't need to worry about the admin after having the code written. You can seamlessly integrate it into one workflow, from basically prompting the agentic AI to do whatever you want it to do, to have that feature directly in the hands of your users. So I think this is incredibly powerful, and it really shows where we're going with app with apps in general, where it can become this like very personalized experience, because we have so much development power now with the agentic AI. So we can gradually push out updates to users. We can personalize it way better than we could before, and this is really just the beginning, because the models get better, the technologies become better, everything works more and more seamlessly well together. While you can of course try everything from this video in the free version of Shorebird, if you would like to try out their pro or business tiers, the team at Shorebird have been so nice to provide the house community with a coupon code. So when you sign up, you can enter the code welcome house in one word, and you'll get 1 free month of either their pro or business plan. So yeah, thanks to Shorebird for providing the community with that free gift. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below how you've either been using this particular tech stack in your own projects, or if you have a completely different approach to combining different technologies into a more optimized app development workflow, where you integrate the entire steps from development to pushing the app out into one seamless workflow. If you have another approach, I'm very interested to learn about that as well. So feel free to comment. I will personally reply to all of your comments. Also, please like the video if you found it helpful, and stay tuned for more content like this. See you soon. Have a great day. Bye bye.